Hello dear followers, I'm Dr. Ahmedov, hair transplant surgeon from My Hair Clinic. Welcome to our channel. Today we have a 1-year result follow-up of our patient, Mr. Basharan Submarinam, who had the hair transplant surgery in our clinic 1 year ago on 20th of October of 2021. Before we start, I just want to give a brief information about the patient just before the surgery. This is Mr. Bashar's before the surgery pictures 1 year ago. Mr. Basharan Submarinam had the Norwood type 5 to Norwood type 6 of the hair loss. What does it mean? Very basically, it means the loss of the front hairline, open area in the front side, mid-scalp, and the crown area. So basically, all three anatomic areas over the scalp were affected by hair loss. For this type of patients, on average, we may need something between 4,500 to 6,000 grafts to cover all the open areas. Of course, the number may change depending on the size of the open area, the density you want to get, expectations of the patient. But the most important criteria here is the ability or capacity of the donor area to give us sufficient number of the grafts to cover the open areas. For Mr. Basharan Submarinam, we planned a 2-step surgery. With the first surgery, there were actually different options. There can be 3 different options for this type of patients. Option number 1, a classic 2-step approach. With the first surgery, we rebuilt the front hairline, covered the front side, mid-scalp, and as much as we can the crown area, depending on the number of the grafts. And with the second surgery, around 1 year later, do the rest of the open area. That's the most appropriate medical and technical approach in this kind of cases. But every once in a while, we may go with the option number 2, that is like spread evenly all the grafts all across the head. But the second option has some disadvantage, like because we have to spread the same number over a very big area, overall density may go really down and may not satisfy the patient, okay? That's like technically, or from the patient side, most unsatisfactory surgery case, okay? Or there can be option number 3, a priorities. We have 3 anatomic areas, front, mid, and the crown area. Just like we can see it here, we have marked all 3 anatomic areas for Basharan. This is front area, this is the mid-scalp, and this is the crown area. In the priority surgery, it goes like, the patient may pick up, say, the most important for me is like the front side or the crown area, and we can start with the specific area only. And with the Mr. Basharan, we decided to go with the classic 2-step surgery. It means rebuild the front hairline, cover the front side, mid-scalp, and depending on the number of the grafts, cover the crown as much as possible. With the first surgery, Mr. Basharan Submarinam had a mega session with 4,700 grafts. Distribution was roughly 2,800 to this front area. We put 700 grafts into the mid-scalp, and we added around 1,200 to the crown area. So, for the crown area was really large, and with this first surgery, we decided at that 1 year later, depending on the results, okay, he may have the second surgery just to densify the specific area, specifically maybe the crown area. And now our patient is back for his second session, and with the second surgery, we decided to go with Mr. Basharan to keep the same hairline that we had rebuilt it around 1 year ago, make it slightly more dense, a little bit more strong and dense, and adjust a little bit of density to his crown area. Yes, it looks good, but he needs to give some backup, and some densification is needed to be done. So our plan for the second surgery is to reinforce the front hairline a little bit more, but the main accent will be given to the crown area to cover with the higher density. So with the second surgery, we are going to keep the same hairline here, but reinforce it, make it slightly stronger, and with the higher density. When we do the reconstruction of the front hairline, there are some points we have to take into the consideration. It's the age of the patient, its anatomy of the face, the height of the front head muzzle, ethnicity of the patient, that also plays a huge role when planning the hairline, but also the capacity of the donor area to give us sufficient number of the grafts. The stronger the donor, the more density and slightly lower we can get it. But if the donor area is an average, we try to keep the hairline slightly more conservative and make it slightly more narrow to the corners to give more density and coverage in the open areas of the head. The male type of the hairlines have some specificities. We can see it mostly across the social media when the hairline is designed like a seagull or seagull wings. Most of the time it goes like this. There is a line here and gives a tilt here. Okay, something like this. That's not a very natural male pattern hairlines. Why? Because in males, we prefer to go slightly higher. There should be very prominent transition from the front line to the temples. We call it the frontotemporal transition zone. And it should be with some more sharp corners because it shows the males more muscular. The anatomy requires this one. Most of the time, these seagull wings like hairline happen due to the fact, can you please raise your eyebrows, Basharan? When you raise the eyebrows, you can see the front head muzzle. And most of the time, the doctors or medical professionals who perform the surgeries but don't know these aspects, they draw the line across the borders of the muzzle, thus just mimicking this line. It may look a little bit good at the beginning, but when the growth happens, it can create some problems. First of all, the transition from the frontal side to the temples becomes really different, okay? And it's one of the major pitfalls we can see during the hair transplant surgery, when this transition from the front side to the temples is very prominent. It just tells us, hey, I had a hair transplant surgery. Hair transplant surgery should go unnoticeable. Just like this, when the transplant is done and you do a proper hair styling, you can see it, the direction of the hair is different. Also, on the sides, you can see the hair on the temple side grows slightly downwards, and on the front side, it gives a small turn to the left of the patient. That's what creates a more natural outlook. And the hair styling, the patient may have it in the different types. With the second surgery, what we are going to do, we are going to keep the same hairline from Mr. Basharan and going to reinforce this front part and the front forelock. Front forelock in the hair restoration surgery is one of the most important aspects because together with the front line and this front forelock gives us up to the 40% of the density and dense outlook in the front area. And the second priority for us will be the crown area. With the first surgery, we started the reconstruction of the crown area, built the periphery, and started with the whorl or the spiral when the hair actually grows in the crown area with a specific angle and direction. Now with the second surgery, we'll keep the same trend, but going densified across the same borders. For this surgery, we are planning to extract something around 2,000 to 2,500 grafts. And with this number, we'll cover the front side and the crown area. The main idea with the hair transplant surgery, there is a very big misconception every once in a while we see when the patients arrive to our clinics, is that we have to understand the hair restoration surgery and its fundamentals is a kind of giving you an illusion or outlook of the hair. It's not hair replacement treatment. What I mean by this one, for example, the males with no hair loss, all across the head, in the front, mid, and the crown area may host something between 14 to 22,000 grafts. And from the donor area, in 2 to 3 surgeries, in a really good donor areas, we may get something between 5 to 7,000 grafts, maybe slightly more. So it's impossible to take around 14 to 15,000 grafts from here and implant it back. No, we have to distribute the grafts and the hair follicles under the specific angle and direction so they overlap each other, and create a kind of interlocking pattern and give you a dense outlook of the hair. That's the main idea of the hair transplant surgery. And with the surgery, we should keep in mind that it may not be the same density that the patients had when they were young, in their 20s or mid-20s, for example. And Basharan, what about you? Is the plan for the surgery we are talking about is fine with you? So, keep the same hairline we have designed last year, cover the front side with slightly more density, specific very front line here.
Okay, doctor.
Okay, and densify the crown area.
I go for Dr. D.
Okay, thank you for your humble approach. Let me draw it and show it to you. So we see that we are talking about the same thing. Okay.
I like the doctor. You designed the first hairline My wife, she said to me, so a very good doctor, natural look.
Yeah, that's very important that the hair transfer surgery, that goes really unnatural.
Natural look. Yeah.
Okay. Let me mark the borders for the area here.
You are a very good, experienced doctor.
Thank you very much.
I'm always thankful, doctor, entire my life.
You don't look that bold anymore as you were 1 year ago, actually.
The reason I succeed, I follow Firdavs doctors say to me everything. I do say every day, monoxidil, fenestrate, and follow the instruction doctor recommended me. So this result, I get it.
Okay. When 1 year ago we were planning the surgery of the Basharan, we also talked with the patient about the medical treatment of the hair loss. Medical treatment is also a very important step in the hair restoration surgery or hair loss treatments. Okay, because with the surgery we try to cover the open areas as much as we can, but it's also very important for us to prevent furthermore hair loss, like prevent the hair loss of the areas that the patient still has some hair. Okay, because when we do the surgery, we do it according to the hair loss pattern or shape of the hair loss the patient has today. And if the patient goes on with the hair loss, maybe 1, maybe 3, maybe 5 years later, from patient to patient may very significantly, we may end up with new empty spots, and the surgery we have done, it may not be that good looking. So with the surgery, basically we try to cover the open area as much as we can, and with the medical treatment we'll protect what we still have, preventing furthermore hair loss. And there are 2 basic medications we use across the hair restoration surgery and hair loss treatments, and both of them are, by the way, FDA approved. It's a minoxidil 5% solution. It can be in the form of the spray or the foam, and the finasteride 1 milligram tablets. And we'll also do some measurement to the crown area to do the rough estimation of the number of the grafts we are going to distribute in this area. So it's around 45 to 50 centimeter squares. So with the rough density, we'll need something around 1,000 to 1,200 to cover this, to give this area slightly more density. And our second approach will be the front line and the front area. You can hold the mirror, please, Basharan. So, as you can see, the same hairline, we didn't change nothing, but this very front area, it will be densified slightly more in between these 2 lines. Okay? And one more thing, as I've told you, is to reinforce the front forelock, the small circled area here that you had last year, but we didn't touch it for that period. Okay? To reinforce a little bit more. So we'll go just in between newly transplanted hair with very gentle approach. Okay? Is the plan fine with you?
Yeah, I'm 100% fine with doctor saying to me.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that the biggest happiness for any medical professional or in our field is when the patient is really happy and when the surgery goes as a life changer. And for Basharan, it went really from 0 to hero, getting into a completely new level, self-confidence. Biggest point, he's very happy. That's the biggest payoff for us, like seeing our patient satisfied and happy.
I also want to say thank you, God. God put me in right place with good doctors, good team, semi-electronic entire team. Everybody's working hard and very friendly and very helpful.
Okay, and thank you very much, Basharan. And
thank you, doctor.
Follow the transformation. Welcome to our family.
Doctor, good doctor.
Okay. Thank you for following us and listening to our interview with Mr. Basharan Submarinam, who had the hair transplant surgery 1 year ago with 4,700 grafts. He was on Norwood type 5 to 6. Now we are going to start his second surgery to add a little bit of more density to the front hairline, front forelock, and densify the crown area a little bit. Thank you. Stay tuned.